Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to use QGIS to load the layer and then check its properties and projection files and make sure that the data you got is correct. Okay, so now here we go. First of all, I will introduce QGIS interface. It is an open source software that has a lot of developer communicate and also put their effort into the development. So it is multilingual interfaces. You could choose one of the language that you prefer. Today I'm going to show the interface in English. So you could just go to the download now after you get to the official website. When you see this, it means if you want a complete network installer that's including with OSGeo batch script functionality. If you're an advanced user and would like to implement a little bit Python code, then you could install this installer, network installer OSGeo 4W. This is my version. If you're just a beginner of GIS and just want to do some maps, then you could of course just install the easier functions, that is QGIS standalone installer. And here I would suggest the most stable one for you to install. So possibly for those beginners, you could install QGIS standalone version 3.10. Of course, it will be always renewed. So the version is not really matters here. So we'll just suggest you to download the latest one. And of course, if you're if you're using Linux or Mac OS, you just choose one of your own version. So I'm not going to install here because I already have a QGIS. So let's start it. After you successfully download QGIS, you should see a QGIS desktop here. Let's open it. The interface is quite straightforward. So when you initiate it, you can see my version is quite old, it's 3.2, but I think it should be fine. After the interface was successfully loaded, if you have worked with QGIS, some map document before, it will show here. But I think today we are going to start a new one. So here I just need to choose project, new, then it is fine. So the interface is clean now. As you can see here, I could tell you a little bit about the interfaces. First, you have all kinds of functionalities here. It is called processing toolbox. It's quite practical, quite handy. To enable this, you just need to find the processing on the top menu and then choose toolboxes. See? Yeah. So some advanced functionality in graph, command, for example, vector, raster, it all can be run in the QGIS interface. So for me, if I want to do some advanced, for example, Python consoles here, there's also functions that you could just type Python scripts here. So it might be too advanced now for you because it's production section of QGIS, so we're going to just close it. So you have better map view. So first, we want to see, for example, I would suggest, no matter if you're an advanced user or basic user, you should go to plugin and manage the install plugins. Why? This is important because QGIS is a big family, so a lot of developers working on plugins. Once you started the plugin overview interfaces here, it shows from the QGIS official repository all the plugins available here. So, for example, you just click any one of it, and on the info pages you can see what is this plugin used for, how many people already downloaded it, and how they feel about it. So, for example, my personal also have a plugin. This is the one that I implemented by myself. It's used for polygon features and it's quite practical for classification of profile maps. If you're interested, you could also install this sample plugin, just for you know. Today we are not going to use this tool, so I just close it. You see, if I uptick it, it will just gone on the top. And we come back again. Yeah, so you could just structural interface matrix in mind. And here is the one that I suggest everyone should have. It's called Open Layers plugin. Why? Because you see how many people using it, first of all. And then second, it has all the open source maps, OpenStreetMap, or like Google Maps, everything that you could imagine, big maps, for example. So you could just overlap in QGIS and also compare to your own data. So now this is very basic plugin interfaces. If you're advanced users, you could take this one. In the settings, show also experimental plugin. And here is the thing that, you know, if some people are, so if some people are just developing the plugin but not yet finished, so they will mark it as experimental. And if you take this, then this plugin will also show in the repository. And here you could just reload it, and it will show. Yeah, so that's all. So today I'm going to load a OpenStreetMap first. So as I said, it is in the plugins, but actually once you enable it, it will show in the web because it's kind of web functionality. So don't forget, once you install the plugin correctly, you should be able to see, for example, OpenStreetMap. So here I load OpenStreetMap. Here you can see this is a world map, and just depend on where you want it to zoom in. I personally live in Germany, so you can see basically here's the functionality. Zoom to, see, zoom in. So I could just throw a rectangular, then it will zoom to the city that I live in. So it's refresh the background image on the fly, so you have to connect to the internet. Then you could see very detailed, like roads, train stations, and so on and so on. So now I'm going to demo a, let's say, geo packages that use for Latacunga. Now I could go to Add Layers. It's on the top left. You can see here there's two ticks. Data Source Manager. Okay. So I know my data is a vector layer, which means it has geometry, and here you could just click on one of the sources. It's categorized by the type, and here you could add vector sources. So this is some of my data here, but today I'm going to show you some geo packages. So here is GeoServer data dir. So I put my geo packages into this data folder. You could define your own data folder on your desktop, it's fine. So here are some the packages, and this is the one I'm going to show today. It's a language land cover layer. So I'm just going to open it, and then I just add. It's very straightforward. And you have to wait for a couple seconds, and just close it. So the layer is here. You didn't see it because it's zoomed to Germany. Of course, it's just not there. You just need to right-click on the layer name, doing it again, you see, and then zoom to layers. So now it's Latacunga. You can see the layers load a little bit slow, but I guess because it contains a lot of features. But I think it's fine. The geometry looks quite okay for me. So I guess this is the very basic instructions on how to use QGIS. So once the layer is successfully loaded, you could check the properties. Just right-click on the layers and then choose properties. And here you have all kind of functionality that QGIS provides. So for beginner, it might be kind of confusing, but it's actually quite straightforward because only a few of the items that you use quite often. First, check information. Make sure it has a CRS, which called projection system. So this shows EPSG code, which is quite commonly used in, I guess, Ecuador. Every country has their own EPSG code system, but luckily QGIS will convert the projection system on the fly, so you don't need to do extra conversions. So here it says where my data sources. It's a GeoPackage file, so the file name called the file type called GPKG. So here is quite important. Encoding also possibly important because some countries have their own encoding system. If your computer doesn't have that encoding, then sometimes the character wouldn't show correctly. So I guess it's fine. Everything looks fine now, and it's correctly overloaded. Here is the symbology part. Okay, so here is the very basic one, because I don't want to see everything in the orange color. So we have to draw some colors on it. They are categorized or graduated. Basically, it's the most often used for this too. First, we have to check attribute tables. So here are all the tables. I'm pretty sure if you're not a data producer, you're confused. But because I already know some of the data, I know that this typo is quite important because it shows what is the land type is. So I'm going to draw the layer with typo field. So let's see. Let's go back to symbology. I'm going to make a little bit space here. Okay. So I want to draw the color based on the field type, which is typo field. So I choose categorize because it's categorical field. Typo here in the column, and then you could just choose a color wrap. Here you have kind of default one here, but you could access everything here. For categorical field, I would just use the random, maybe also fine, because it will generate on the fly. If I'm not happy, I could change the data. If you're a professional with colors, then you could also create your own color ramp. But I'm not going to talk too much about creating color ramp here because it's not the point. We should focus on how to generate the color of the layers, right? So now I'm going to use typo field with random color ramp. Then I just classify. See here, every layer with every attribute is loaded here. So here is showing Spanish. Fortunately, I don't understand this, but I think maybe some of you understand that. I just need to click apply. Then the layer will be refreshed and it will show the color accordingly. So if you're not happy with some of the color, you could just come back and working on that. For example, you just need to double click on the orange, on the purple, then you could just choose another color that you like. Quite straightforward. You could also give HTML code or just give RGB code here, color code, what I mean. So this is today how to load a layer and then into the map. I hope you got everything that you needed. You could also export the map into a special feature class. For example, you could change data type into SHA file, polygon, or if you just want the tables, then you go export it as Excel. That could show, that would export the layer attribute into the Excel table if you wanted a copy of it. But of course, if you choose export the cell, then it doesn't have geometry anymore. I guess the most frequent used are shapefile and GeoPackages. So you just need to know this too. Okay, see you around. That's our courses today. I hope you enjoy it.